Welcome. This video is about Linux performance tuning, focusing on how to identify and resolve performance bottlenecks. Understanding these concepts can significantly improve the efficiency and responsiveness of your Linux systems. Let's explore the common performance bottlenecks in Linux systems. These include CPU utilization issues, where processes are constantly demanding processing power. Next is memory constraints and swapping, which occurs when the system runs out of physical memory and starts using the hard drive as memory. Then there are disk input-output limitations, when the hard drive cannot read or write data fast enough. Also, network bandwidth and latency, which affects how quickly data can be sent and received over a network. And finally, process scheduling inefficiencies, where the operating system isn't managing tasks efficiently. The approach to performance tuning begins with identifying the bottleneck. Then measure the current performance to establish a baseline. Only make one change at a time to accurately assess its impact. Remember to test and validate if there are improvements, and finally, document the changes you make along with their results. Here are some essential monitoring tools that will help you observe performance of your Linux systems. htop provides a real-time view of system processes and resource usage. To use it, simply type htop in the terminal. htop is an interactive process viewer with enhanced features, offering a more user-friendly interface than top. Run it by typing htop. vmstat reports virtual memory statistics, giving insights into memory usage and swapping activity. For example, use vmstat 15 to get updates every 1 second 5 times. iostat reports central processing unit and input-output statistics, helping identify disk-related bottlenecks. To get detailed input-output statistics every 1 second, type iostat-xz1. Now let's explore resource-specific monitoring tools, beginning with central processing unit and memory monitoring. vmstat reports per processor statistics, useful for multi-core systems. For example, to view all processor statistics every 1 second, use vmstat-p all1. SAR collects and reports system activity information over time. To collect central processing unit usage every 1 second, 5 times, use SAR-u15. Free displays memory usage information, including total, used, and free memory. You can use the command free-h to display the output in a human-readable format. pitstat reports statistics for Linux processes, allowing you to monitor individual processes. To monitor a specific process, use pitstat-p, followed by the process ID and the interval. Now let's discuss disk and network monitoring. iotop monitors disk input-output usage by processes, showing which processes are reading from or writing to the disk the most. To run it, simply type iotop. netstat displays network connections and statistics, including listening ports and established connections. Use netstat-tuln to view the listening ports. SS is a modern replacement for netstat, providing similar functionality with improved performance. Use ss-tuln to display listening ports and their states. Finally, htop displays bandwidth usage on an interface in real time. To monitor bandwidth usage on Ethernet 0, use htop-is0. Now let's move on to central processing unit performance tuning. CPU governor settings control central processing unit frequency scaling for performance or power saving. To check the current scaling governor, use cat/sys/devices/system/cpu0/qfreq/scaling_governor. To set the governor to performance mode, use echo performance greater than /sys/devices/system/cpu0/qfreq/scaling_governor. Process priority can be adjusted using nice to influence scheduling. The range is from -20 to 19, where lower numbers mean higher priority. To start a low priority process, use nice-n10 /low_priority_process. To change the priority of an existing process, use renice-n-5-p, followed by the process ID. Let's see how to improve memory performance. Swappiness controls how aggressively the kernel swaps memory to disk, with values ranging from 0 to 100. To view the current swappiness value, use cat/proc/sys/vm/swappiness. To change the swappiness value to 10, use sudo systemctl/vm.swappiness equals 10. Cache pressure controls how the kernel reclaims memory used for caching file system objects. To view the current cache pressure value, use cat/proc/sys/vm/vfs_cache_pressure. To change the cache pressure value to 50, use sudo systemctl/vm.vfs_cache_pressure equals 50. Let's see how to tune disk input/output performance. The input/output scheduler manages how disk input/output requests are handled. To view the current input/output scheduler, use cat/sys/block/sda/q/scheduler. To change the scheduler to deadline, use echo deadline greater than /sys/block/sda/q/scheduler. The read-ahead buffer adjusts the amount of data prefetched from disk. To view the current read-ahead value, use blockdev_getra/dev/sda. To set the read-ahead value to 4096 kilobytes, use sudo blockdev_cetra 4096/dev/sda. Now let's look at how to improve network performance. TCP window scaling. Adjust the TCP window size for high-bandwidth networks. To enable TCP window scaling and increase the maximum read and write buffer sizes, use these commands. sysctl-wnet.ipv4.tcp_window_scaling equals 1. sysctl-wnet.core.rmem_max equals 16,777,216. And sysctl-wnet.core.mem_max equals 16,777,216. TCP congestion control changes the congestion control algorithm for different network conditions. To view the current congestion control algorithm, use sysctl-net ipv4 TCP_congestion_control. To change the congestion control algorithm to BBR, use sysctl-wnet ipv4 TCP_congestion_control equals BBR. Here are some best practices to keep in mind. Always measure before and after making changes to quantify improvements. Make one change at a time and test thoroughly. Use appropriate monitoring tools for the specific bottleneck. Document all changes and their effects for future reference. Consider workload patterns when tuning parameters, and make persistent changes through configuration files. In conclusion, performance tuning is an iterative process that requires careful measurement, analysis, and targeted adjustments. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.